In her first interview with Fox News, JD Vance's wife, Usha, is not surprisingly supporting her husband after a few weeks of concern over his long history of attacking people who don't have kids, calling them childless cat ladies. Here's what she had to say.
2021, JD said, "We are effectively run by a bunch of childless cat ladies." When it became controversial, what was your reaction?
The reality is, JD made a quote. I mean, he made a quip, and he made a quip in service of making a point that he wanted to make that was substantive. And I just wish sometimes that people would talk about those things and that we would spend a lot less time just sort of going through this 3-word phrase or that 3-word phrase, because what he was really saying is that it can be really hard to be a parent in this country. And sometimes our policies are designed in a way that make it even harder. And we should be asking ourselves, why is that true? What is it about our leadership and the way that they think about the world that makes it so hard sometimes for parents?
I think that that is a great point that has nothing to do with what he was saying, but I think it really tees us up to respond to it. She, of course, is going to brush aside the 3 words or whatever, because it probably bothers her on a deep level that she's now having to be reminded every day that her husband is fundamentally misogynistic. He was not just trying to make a substantive point. He was making the opposite of a substantive point. He was using an applause line to mock women who choose not to have kids or can't have kids. And she does what they all do, which is like, oh, he didn't mean to offend people who tried and failed. No, but he meant to offend people who don't want to have kids. And she's fine with that. She's as fine with that as he is. And to be clear, she references how it's tough to have kids. Yeah, a lot of people can't afford it. Maybe we could do something about that. He's not proposing solutions. He's proposing mockery of people who make different decisions than he has in his life.
A storm is tearing up the digital media industry. Only our audience can save us in these difficult times. Help us reach our goal of 100,000 new members at tyt.com/team.
And we're gonna give you a little bit more of her from the interview and then we'll discuss.
What do you say to the women who were offended or were hurt by that?
JD absolutely, at the time and today, would never, ever, ever want to say something to hurt someone who was trying to have a family, who really, was struggling with that. And I also understand there are a lot of other reasons why people may choose not to have families, and many of those reasons are very good. I think what I would say is, let's try to look at the real conversation that he's trying to have and engage with it and understand, for those of us who do have families, for the many of us who want to have families and for whom it's really hard, what can we do to make it better? What can we do to make it easier to live in 2024 and live a very full life that isn't just professional, that also has this kind of rich personal life and community behind it?
Yeah, you know what probably doesn't make it easier? Just constant mockery from the right, from JD Vance and from every other one of the troglodytes that are supposed to be men on the right. That doesn't help. And again, she says lots of people have lots of good reasons. Okay, you acknowledge they have good reasons. He doesn't think they have good reasons. He thinks that their reasons mean they don't have a skin in the game. They should pay higher taxes. They shouldn't have as much political power. He thinks they should literally be second-class citizens. Why doesn't it bother you that your husband thinks these things? And I want your response to that, Francesca, but also bear in mind, she's being asked about the cat lady stuff. I think kind of opportunistically, she's not being asked about her husband supporting Trump's biracial people don't exist, it's so weird, nobody gets it stuff. I think that probably is what she should be asked about, but what do you think?
I mean, she should be asked about both. I can't believe she actually agreed to the interview, but she has to, just like he has to apologize for Donald Trump, she's got to apologize for her own husband. Let's be real, JD Vance rose to power in a time when, anti-woke politics were seen as the thing that would win people elections. And lo and behold, they didn't with Ron DeSantis. So in order to get fame, you have to be a troll, you have to be mean, you have to be a bully, you have to say things like childless cat ladies are running the country and they don't deserve to vote. And it didn't work. And we see now, put to the test of a national election, it's absolutely backfiring on him. And by the way, JD Vance missed the vote on the child tax credit. If he actually cared about helping parents, he was out campaigning. He didn't even vote for it and it failed. So where's 100%. Your actual husband on this? It's so pathetic, John. This is a version of boys talk. It was just boys talk.
Yeah, that's effectively what she's saying. And look, I have some empathy for women who are, married to right-wing men. They have to apologize for this stuff because their men are broken, tiny little shriveled weenies who are terrified of the world around them, terrified of anyone who isn't like them. both feel entitled to and desperately want women that they hate and have no respect for. It's a messed up world to live in. And maybe she's terrible too on politics. I don't know. We haven't seen any direct evidence of that, but she is now, as you said, she's got to apologize for it. And so every time she does an appearance like this, she's going to provide the evidence that she may not be actively supporting it, but she'll do nothing to stop it. Members make a difference here at TYT. You help make the show happen, and we see you in the chat with your loyalty badge. Click the join button to become a member today.